The Thorne Canine Center was an impressive facility. Modern architecture, manicured grounds, efficient staff moving with quiet purpose. It projected an image of control, expertise, and cutting-edge science in animal behavior. It was a place built on the promise of rehabilitation for difficult dogs. But within this polished exterior lay a stark exception, a dog who defied every expectation, a living testament to the limits, according to the center's director. His name was Kiko, a Shiba Inu with a history so volatile, he'd been isolated for over a year. Staff described him using clinical terms: reactive, unpredictable, deeply damaged. His world was a reinforced concrete run, perhaps 10 by 20 feet. Inside, he was a perpetual motion machine of anxiety, pacing endlessly, body coiled with stress. Eyes wide, ears swiveling, fur often slightly bristling. The moment anyone entered his line of sight, even at a distance, he would erupt, lunging against the mesh, barking a harsh rapid fire, snarling, snapping at the air. This wasn't calculated aggression. It was raw, overwhelming fear, a frantic defense mechanism screaming, "Make the terrifying presence go away!" Director Marcus Thorne, the man behind the center's respected behavioral program, used Kiko as his prime cautionary tale. Eloquent and authoritative, his voice resonated with confidence as he addressed a group of new interns outside Kiko's run, the dog's frantic barking a jarring soundtrack. "Observe," Thorne instructed, gesturing at the agitated Shiba. He was impeccably dressed, the picture of professional expertise. "This is Kiko, an unfortunate outcome." This is what happens when the wrong dog meets the wrong circumstances. Early trauma, poor genetics, a perfect storm. Kiko, as if on cue, launched another frenzy against the mesh. The interns flinched, some stepping back. Thorne waited for the outburst to subside slightly. "We've employed numerous protocols," he continued, voice regaining its measured cadence. "Desensitization, counter-conditioning, pharmacological interventions. Limited success. Sometimes, despite all the science and compassion, there's simply no way back. Some dogs," he concluded, his gaze sweeping the hushed interns, "stay broken." The group nodded, taking notes, absorbing the director's pronouncement, accepting the narrative of inevitability. All but one. Standing slightly apart, Hana Sato watched in silence. Her attention wasn't on Thorne's lecture, but on the dog. She saw the tension, the fear, but also a desperate, misunderstood communication in his frantic movements. Each lunge felt like a screamed question, each bark a signal no one heard. Her gaze wasn't judgmental or diagnostic. She simply watched, saw. And then, amidst the cacophony of Kiko's fear and Thorne's voice, something unexpected happened. As Kiko reached another peak of frenzy, vibrating against the mesh, Hana made a quiet sound. Subtle, almost lost, yet it cut through the panic. A soft, short test, followed by a gentle murmur, a low, soothing sound. Kiko stopped. Abruptly. Mid-lunge, mid-bark. He froze. His head turned, slowly, tentatively. His wide, frantic eyes shifted. They found Hana. And in that moment, something in him shifted too. The raw fear seemed to drain away, replaced by something quieter. Recognition, curiosity. His body softened visibly, his posture lowered, and his tail, usually tucked tight, gave a hesitant, low wag. Not happy, but cautious, testing a different reality. For a suspended moment, the chaos was gone, replaced by a fragile stillness. Marcus Thorne noticed. His words trailed off. His eyes settled on Hana, unreadable. Then, he cleared his throat. "Right," he said, tone regaining professionalism. "We'll move on. Let's discuss the desensitization protocols." He smoothly herded the group away. But that moment stayed behind. It hung in the air between Hana and Kiko. a silent question in a place built on definitive answers. Kiko's world was 10 feet wide, concrete floor, reinforced mesh, double gates, designed for containment, not comfort. Safety by minimizing interaction meant absolute isolation. He didn't go on walks, no interaction with other dogs. Most staff avoided eye contact, protocol to reduce triggers. Food came via a sliding tray. Cleaning only happened when he could be moved, a stressful process he sometimes didn't allow. His reactivity wasn't constant, but it was unpredictable. One moment curled silently in the corner. The next, a sudden noise or sight sent him spiraling, barking, spinning, snapping at the air, crashing against the mesh. Records detailed failed attempts, tense sessions, treats rejected, clickers ignored, desensitization routines that never stuck. Conclusions were always the same. Unresponsive, highly reactive, progress minimal, prognosis guarded. Kiko was a file labeled problem, managed and given up on. And yet, quietly, something began to shift. Hana Sato was assigned to nearby kennels, close enough that her daily tasks, cleaning, organizing, preparing meals, brought her within his line of sight for significant periods. She didn't try to engage directly, no calling his name, no coaxing. She followed distance protocols, but with a subtle difference. She would glance his way, a soft, acknowledging look, never a stare. Her primary method was simply existing within his awareness, a non-threatening, consistent presence. She worked deliberately, calmly, cleaning runs, movement steady, organizing supplies, often with her back to him. Sometimes, she brought a stool and sat near his run, angled away, body relaxed, reading or just sitting quietly. She never sat directly facing him, allowing him the choice to watch without feeling challenged. Occasionally, she hummed softly as she worked, simple melodies, a quiet sound of peace. Other times, she left small items near his enclosure edge, a robust chew toy, a piece of soft cloth, a smooth stone, placed discreetly, never watching him take them. The act needed to be entirely his choice. But in the mornings, the items would be gone. Taken into his concrete space, a silent acknowledgement, a tiny bridge. Marcus Thorne noticed. He saw her sitting, saw the items. No direct accusation, but his tone grew colder. "Miss Sato," he said one afternoon, stopping her. "Just a reminder, you're aware of the boundaries for Kiko. There's a reason for strict distance, for safety, and to avoid triggering his reactivity." Hana met his gaze calmly. "Yes, Dr. Thorne. I understand the protocol." She offered no explanations. He knew she was deviating from the spirit of the protocol. He let it drop, expression unreadable. The message was clear. Kiko was a lost cause, defined by failure. Don't waste time. Don't mess with the narrative. And yet, for reasons no one fully understood, maybe not even Hana, Kiko watched her. He didn't lunge when she walked past. He didn't bark when she sat nearby. He simply watched. His eyes followed her, head occasionally tilting. The frantic energy for others was absent. And that, for Kiko, was entirely new. A shift so subtle, only someone truly looking could see it. Weeks became months. Kiko's routine remained the same, confined, isolated. But for Hana, routine was opportunity. Her quiet presence continued. Every shift, she was there. Cleaning, sitting, humming. Never pushing, never demanding. Just being there. A predictable, non-threatening fixture. Most staff didn't notice the change at first. They saw Kiko through the established lens. Tense, unpredictable, damaged. But Hana saw it. Watching, truly watching, without judgment. The small shifts accumulated. He started startling less violently when she entered the room. The tight curl of his tail no longer tucked under the moment she passed. And the items she left? He took them sooner, sometimes moving towards the gate while she was still in sight, though never while she was looking directly at him. It was slow, excruciatingly slow, almost imperceptible. But to Hana, it was unmistakable. Tiny sprouts of possibility pushing through the hardened concrete of his fear. One afternoon, she introduced a high-value treat, a dried fish skin. Sitting a little closer, still angled away, back slightly turned, signaling no threat. She placed it near the sliding tray and waited. At first, Kiko just stared, body hesitant, muscles tight, tail stiff, eyes fixed on the treat, then her, then the treat. The space felt impossibly vast. Then, tentatively, he took a step forward. Hana held her breath, still, gaze on her book. Another step. Paws moved slowly, fraught with ancient caution. He reached the treat, nose twitching, eyes never leaving her profile. He lowered his head and gently picked it up. No lunging, no barking, no snapping, no frantic retreat. He held it, looking at her. A small act, but monumental. The first time he'd accepted something from a human without dissolving into panic or hiding. He didn't eat it immediately. He carried it back a few steps, remaining visible. The next day, another small miracle. While Hana sat reading nearby, Kiko didn't pace. He didn't watch from the back of his run. He walked to the front, lay down near the mesh, and rested. Eyes blinked slowly, watching her, breathing steady. For a few minutes, there was peace, a shared, quiet peace. But trust, for Kiko, was fragile, not solid, but a delicate web, easily torn. One afternoon, a staff member, perhaps new, dropped a heavy metal bowl just behind his run. A sudden, ear-splitting clang. Kiko exploded. Instantaneous reversion to deepest programming. He spun, barking a frenzied, high-pitched scream of panic. Body slammed against the mesh repeatedly. The quiet peace vanished, replaced by raw terror. Everything Hana had worked toward seemed to dissolve in seconds. He bit wildly at the air, snapped at the wall, eyes rolling. Then, abruptly, retreated to the farthest corner, shaking violently, panting. It took hours for him to calm. Hana sat nearby, speaking softly when he allowed it, simply present. The connection felt frayed, almost broken. The incident rattled Hana, not just the setback, but the brutal reminder of how deep his trauma ran, how close to the surface it lived. Progress wasn't linear. Any step forward risked collapsing backward. But Hana didn't give up. She couldn't. Because she'd seen something most others hadn't. Not a broken dog, not a lost cause, but a scared one, whose reactions were learned defense, not aggression. In that fear, in that desperate longing for safety, she saw something salvageable, something worth fighting for. There was something achingly familiar in Kiko's response to Hana. More than curiosity, a faint echo, a distant memory stirring, recognition, as if a part of him remembered something specific or someone. The feeling grew with every quiet exchange, every moment he watched her instead of fleeing. Was there connection more than coincidence? Was there history? Driven by intuition, she turned to the center's records. Meticulous digital files, yet frustratingly sparse. Kiko transferred from another facility. Owner surrender.
Behavioral concerns. Vague. Clinical. No clear origin. No detailed background.
Just a single note. Colleague referral. She dug further, requesting archived paper files. Hours poring over dusty folders. Nothing concrete. No prior medical or behavior reports. No information on the original owner. The trail stopped cold where he entered the system, as if Kiko had materialized out of thin air, carrying only his trauma. Defeated, she returned home. The clinical anonymity of the files, a stark contrast to the vibrant, fearful dog she knew. Restless, unable to shake the feeling the answer wasn't in the official records. Later that week, helping her mother sort her grandfather's belongings, she found something unexpected. A small wooden box of old photos. Amidst family snapshots, one image stopped her heart. Old, 6 or 7 years, a younger Kiko. Unmistakably Kiko, but different. Body relaxed, posture soft. Sitting calmly next to an elderly man, tail in a loose Shiba curl, eyes alert but soft, focused peacefully on him. The man was unmistakable. Dr. Kenji Sato, her beloved grandfather. Hana stared, heart pounding. This was not the dog from the Thorne Center. This Kiko was relaxed, engaged, seemingly whole. The contrast was jarring. Driven by urgent need, she searched his study, boxes dedicated to his work as a canine behaviorist, notebooks filled with his familiar handwriting, journals of cases, reflections, training notes. And there, among entries on trauma-informed methods and sensitivity-based bonding, she found notes mentioning Kiko, filled not with clinical distance, but affection and insight. Kiko, approx 8 months old, came to me needing sanctuary. Extremely intelligent, unnervingly so, easily overwhelmed by noise, sudden movement, harsh voices, must be handled with gentle structure and abundant space, responds best to tone, not command. Quiet praise. Tailor every step to his needs. Unique case. Worth everything. Then another note. Weeks later. Thorne visiting today. Met him at a conference last year. Impressive work, though his methods feel more focused on control than connection. Impressed by Kiko's intelligence, despite reactivity to strangers. Asked about Kiko's progress and our methods for sensitive cases. Sees potential for his own center. The final entry, months later, sent a chill through Hana. Making arrangements for Kiko's transfer to Thorne Center. My health declining. Cannot provide long-term focused care. Thorne promised me, face to face. He would continue same methods, same patience, same understanding. Honor the foundation we've built. I believe he will. I have to believe it. Only way I can ensure Kiko's future. But he didn't. Thorne didn't just take Kiko. He took the trust of a dying man dedicated to understanding and compassion. He took that trust, and he broke it. Now, Hana knew the truth. Kiko was never beyond repair, wasn't a failure. He was betrayed. Hana held the truth. Documented, undeniable. Photos, journals, Thorne's letters. Every piece told the same story. Kiko was never a lost cause. A sensitive, intelligent dog entrusted to a colleague under a promise of care and continuity. A promise Marcus Thorne broke. She replayed it all. Thorne's lectures, his dismissive tone, the certainty he declared Kiko untrainable. Not misjudgment, but betrayal of Kiko and her grandfather's legacy. Now, she had to decide. The center was preparing for a major seminar. Professionals, students, a significant event showcasing Thorne's expertise. He planned to use Kiko again, the prime example of extreme reactivity, proof some dogs were beyond saving. Hana knew this couldn't happen, not with the truth buried beneath the surface. She spent nights organizing evidence, highlighting journal entries, marking points on Kiko's needs and responsiveness, organizing Thorne's letters, noting dates and assurances, printing the photo of Kiko and Dr. Sato, the image speaking louder than documents. And still, she hesitated. Not from doubt in the truth. The evidence was irrefutable. The hesitation stemmed from the weight of what it meant. She wasn't just challenging a respected trainer, a director. She was challenging the foundation of the entire center, a system valuing control and results over patience and understanding. Fighting for Kiko, yes, but also for her grandfather's legacy, for a different way of seeing damaged animals. It felt enormous, daunting. The morning of the seminar, crisp and bright, Before heading to the main building, Hana detoured to Kiko's run. He was lying near the front, behavior more frequent since her consistent presence. Eyes steady as she approached, body loose, tail not tucked. When he saw her, no bark, no lunge. He lifted his head, ears swiveling. She crouched quietly outside the gate, respecting the boundary, bridging the distance. The quiet connection settled between them. "I found you," she whispered. "I know who you are, Kiko, who you were, and who you still can be." Kiko blinked slowly, a deep, soft breath, posture calm. An acknowledgement, a silent understanding. It strengthened her. She stood, leaving the quiet sanctuary, walking towards the seminar room, towards the confrontation. Inside the large conference room, anticipation filled the air. Rows of chairs faced a platform and screen. Marcus Thorne was adjusting his microphone, confident, composed. The room filled. Trainers, vets, students, public. Thorne's staff were present, a mix of professionalism and underlying tension. Thorne began with authority, slides on behavior, science, reactivity, structured intervention, case studies of success. Then smoothly he transitioned, gestured to the screen, a picture of Kiko's file, then a video, a short edited clip of Kiko in high reactivity, barking, lunging. "Kiko," he said, voice sobering slightly but retaining its edge. "A prime example of the complex challenges, genetics, early trauma, reactivity resisting advanced protocols, the limitations. Some dogs simply cannot be reached." And that's when Hana stood. From her seat near the back, not shouting, simply standing, posture straight, gaze fixed on Thorne. Her voice, not loud, was clear, steady, resonating with quiet power, instantly drawing attention. "My name is Hana Sato," she said. The name hung in the sudden quiet. Anticipation evaporated, replaced by stunned silence. All eyes turned. "And that dog," she continued, unwavering, "is not what you say he is." Silence descended. Profound, uncomfortable. Thorne froze mid-gesture. His eyes, seconds before confident, narrowed. "Sato," landed like a heavy weight. Recognition flickered, quickly masked. He knew. Hana Sato, Dr. Kenji Sato's granddaughter, the quiet intern by Kiko's run. Hana stepped forward, walking calmly towards the platform, clutching her folder. Movements deliberate, controlled, a stark contrast to the frantic Kiko video frozen on screen. "You knew my grandfather," she said, voice steady, undertone of controlled emotion. "Dr. Kenji Sato, you studied his work, admired it enough to seek him out. When his health failed, he entrusted you with a dog unlike any other. A dog he believed in implicitly." She reached the platform, stopping a firm distance from Thorne, opened the folder. "This," she stated, pulling out the enlarged photo, holding it up. The image of the relaxed, happy Shiba next to the kind, elderly man. A stark, visual refutation of the screen image. Years before he came here. No reactivity, no fear. Just a dog with a future. Loved and understood. Murmurs rippled through the audience. She placed the photo on the podium, took out notebooks. These are journal entries, voice gaining strength. Detailed notes from Dr. Sato, spanning months with Kiko. Describe a dog sensitive, easily overwhelmed, yes, but also intelligent, observant, responsive to gentle, consistent methods, thrived under patient, trauma-informed care. Not broken, deeply sensitive. My grandfather wrote about tailoring every step to Kiko's needs. Tone, not command. Trust and space over force. She opened a notebook, showing pages of handwriting. Next, the letters. And these, voice sharp now, cutting through tension, are letters. Your handwriting, Dr. Thorne. Gestured to the top letter, dated before Kiko's transfer, promising my grandfather you'd uphold his work. promising Kiko treated with same care, understanding, respect. A wave of murmuring spread, louder this time. Audience shifted, glancing between Hana, photo, documents, Thorne. You didn't honor that promise, Hana stated plainly, looking at Thorne. Face pale, confident bearing replaced by rigid defensiveness. You took a dog trained to respond to softness, patience, absence of pressure, and applied standard, often force-based methods. Dismissed his regression, his panic, not as reaction to your methods, but inherent failure on his part. Thorne tried to interrupt. Miss Sato, with respect, you are misinterpreting clinical data. We followed protocols. Kiko's history indicates prior issues. Hana cut him off, voice rising slightly, filled with conviction. You let him spiral, she accused, unwavering gaze. Let him become your proof of failure. Not because he failed, Dr. Thorne, but because you did. Turned slightly, gesturing to staff audience. Many looking down. Ask them, she challenged, voice encompassing the room. Ask the staff in the kennels. They've seen him. Not just fear, but moments of quiet observation, the way he watches me instead of lunging. Waits, tentatively, instead of panicking. That connection didn't come from ignoring him or applying standard pressure. Came from being seen, being remembered, being offered a different way. Room shifted again. Staff exchanged glances, some nodding subtly towards Hana. Thorne's carefully constructed facade cracked. Marcus Thorne, confident, composed, couldn't meet her eyes. Looked past her, anywhere but at the woman who dismantled his key case study, his public narrative. Tried to regain footing, spoke of protocol, standard practices, risk management. Words landed flat, sounded like hollow excuses. Silence that followed spoke louder. Palpable shift in energy. Truth had taken root. Kiko wasn't proof of limits. He was evidence of broken promise, compassionate legacy disregarded, sentient being mislabeled. Now, everyone in that room knew. Nowhere left for Marcus Thorne to hide. Pressed by Hana's evidence, watched by unsettled staff, confronted with the visible contradiction, Marcus Thorne finally spoke. Authority gone, replaced by something quieter, measured, stripped of confidence. Yes, he said, voice hesitant. I knew Dr. Sato. I respected him greatly. Paused, words catching, fidgeted with the podium. Gaze not meeting Hana's, stark contrast. I took Kiko under the assumption his case could benefit from our structured environment, management techniques. Swallowed, searching for words, avoiding full confession. Believed standard protocols, experienced handling enough to contain, modify his reactivity. Paused again, silence, stretching. I didn't foresee, trailed off, voice low, how sensitive he truly was. How deeply ingrained his initial training and bonding were with Dr. Sato's specific methods. Not an apology. Admission of misjudgment, unforeseen difficulty, but a crack, significant. Admitted he hadn't followed through. Abandoned the promise, opted for standard approach. Allowed potential to be mislabeled, isolated, nearly lost. Hana didn't press his personal failing or broken promise. That wasn't the goal now. Here for Kiko, his future. I want his records corrected, she stated, firm but calm. Every document pertaining to Kiko reviewed, updated. On paper, in his file, he wasn't dangerous, wasn't beyond saving. He was misunderstood, mishandled according to his needs and past training. Marcus Thorne nodded reluctantly. Implications significant. Rewrite of narrative, public admission of failure. And more than that, Hana continued, laying out her priority, his care plan changes, starting now. No more management solely through avoidance, isolation. No more force-based techniques countering his foundational training. We use his past with my grandfather as guide. We honor who he was under that care, who he still is, deep down. Not asking for control, asking for compassion. For a fundamental shift to patience, individualization, her grandfather's tenets. Asking the center to adopt methods already showing subtle effect. And this time, others listened. Staff, visiting professionals, heard evidence, seen photo, felt weight of truth. Thorne's authority shaken. Days after the seminar, energy at Thorne Canine Center shifted. Rigid control, unquestioned authority began to dissipate, replaced by cautious change, renewed purpose. Meetings held, long, difficult. Key staff, experts, finally including Hana, insight, invaluable. Kiko's file, once testament to failure, updated, revised to reflect history with Dr. Sato, understanding reactivity as trauma response. New protocols drafted, tailored to Kiko, signaling potential shift in center's approach to complex cases, trauma-informed care, individualization, respecting dog's agency. Marcus Thorne stepped back, not by choice, but necessity. Public challenge, exposed failure, damaged standing, remained director, but no longer sole voice, particularly on challenging cases. Attended meetings, contributions reserved, gaze distant. Others stepped in to lead. Staff with doubts about standard protocols, unease about Kiko's isolation, found voices, spoke up, sharing observations, suggesting alternatives, embracing opportunity for nuanced, compassionate methods, not just following orders, collaborating, innovating. And Kiko? His world began, slowly, to expand, soften, run altered, portion of concrete covered with softer mats, more complex enrichment, puzzle feeders, scent games, toys. Double gates remained, but less prison-like. Gentle structure replaced confinement. Short, quiet moments introduced in secluded yard, far from noise, triggers. Accompanied only by Hana, Kiko tentatively explored grass, sniffed earth, rolled in sun. Body, cautious, curious, not panicked. Hana didn't push. Saturday nearby, silent, calming presence. Let him rediscover world at his pace. Didn't trust easily. Grooves carved by fear, betrayal couldn't be erased overnight. Still, moments of panic, triggers. But duration, intensity lessened. Baseline anxiety dropped. Learning some promises could be kept, even if late, delivered by different hand, echoing voice from past. Kiko never the failure they claimed. A mirror? Reflecting system too rigid, focused on control, quick to label instead of understand. System failing to see him as individual with history, needs, potential. Dog mislabeled, misunderstood, nearly forgotten. Truth of who Kiko was, legacy of understanding by Dr. Sato, never gone. Only waited. Faded photos, worn journals, quiet heart of dog who remembered, primally, what it felt like to be seen. Waited for someone willing to look beyond story, told, dig deeper, listened to story waiting in silence. Because of Hana's courage, Dr. Sato's legacy restored, began influencing practices. Because of Kiko, truth demanded to be heard, forcing reevaluation. Healing doesn't erase past. Scars remain. Reminder. But reclaims future. Allows growth. Connection. Possibility of peace. Now, in quiet sun-drenched corner of secluded yard, Kiko lies on grass, body loose, breathing calm. Looks up occasionally. Watchful. Present. Hana sits nearby. Comfortable distance. Presence a quiet anchor. Not training, just being there. And Kiko watches her. Not with fear, not panic, not frantic defense, but with trust. Slow, hard-won trust. Only growing when someone dares look beyond labels, difficult history, and listens to quiet story waiting to be told. Story of dog, never broken, only waiting to be found.